Yeah, I don't know. They don't have an intro for this one. Is what it is. This is our.
We're just freestyling. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, there's a lot of that noise happening.
Yeah. There's so many parts in that movie where I was like, I hope no one hears what I'm listening to.
Oh, and I was watching it while him and Gabby were in like the next room over, and I'm just sitting there like, ooh.
Yeah. So I watched it last night and was like, I don't know, 5-10 max minutes in when I was like, this one's going on headphones.
Yeah, that was a good choice.
This one's headphones.
Yeah. If Noah was my roommate, then I probably would have done the same. But I was just like, yeah.
That's the dream right there.
Yeah.
Just to have that kind of relationship with your roommate.
I've heard weirder things for sure.
Yeah.
Let's not discuss those.
I believe
Yeah. Never mind.
I believe it. Yeah, let's just get into it. I don't know what of that we'll end up keeping.
Keep it all, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't care.
Okay, good.
Oops.
As you'll know, I don't know how to start the podcast. It's fine. Or so it'll either be all of that or something along the lines of welcome late to the movies. My name is Ben Holt, and this is a podcast where my friends and I get to fill in our movie blind spots. Each week, we'll pick a film that either I or a guest hadn't seen before and really should have by now. I have recently, in the last few episodes, started changing like and really should have to and really and then like a verb from the movie by now, and there wasn't one I wanted to do for this one.
You just scream really audibly or loudly.
Mutilated tentacle sex monster.
Yeah, squelching.
Made it past tense.
Yeah. Some great descriptive captions in this one if you watch.
I also had those on.
Nice.
Yes, it's good stuff. I guess I could have gone like, and really should have been too tired from making love to me all night. That's that one she says about the tentacle monster first. Anyway, our first real episode of Sam Neilloween, a whole month of Sam Neill starring horror films, a theme that we just had to do because everyone's been requesting it forever, but we finally are getting around to it. First up is 1981's Possession. Your guest left or right across your podcast style. Do I hear organs squelching? Cory's here.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And Noah's here.
Hey.
So Noah, you just watched this before coming up.
I literally just watched this film.
I could hear it from my office.
Yeah.
At least a couple of us have had a day to sit with it.
Yeah, this needs processing.
Less than 24 hours, but
still, yeah.
Oh yeah. One of my notes says, I know I said to you, Ben, I like the unique and weird movies, but this one may even beyond my capabilities. Be beyond my capabilities.
Yeah, it's one of those for sure. We'll get to it. But first, have you guys watched anything good recently? It is spooky season, so I don't know if you're getting in the holiday spirit.
Spooky season.
I've been watching, I think, a good amount of spooky stuff. Let's see. I watched Cuckoo.
What'd you think?
I wasn't a big fan. I thought it was kind of just boring.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, just like there wasn't anything. It was very like mundane, and like the slightly scary parts were like, oh, okay, whatever. Like this is a little weird, I guess. Also watched the movie X.
Yeah.
From like that Pearl series or whatever.
Yeah. Haven't seen Maxine yet, but I liked the first two.
I've only seen X was the first. I figured I should watch that before watching anything else.
Pearl I like a lot. X I like a lot too. They're really different. They give you different things.
What was that movie that I was telling you I watched and I said Insidious, but it wasn't? It was the one that has like
Sinister?
Sinister, yeah.
Yeah,
I watched that.
I get those confused all the time.
Yeah, because the covers are very like...
Yeah, very similar.
Both of us are seeing Terrifier on Thursday, so that'll be sweet.
Right, yeah.
Nice.
Well, sweet in like a
in a
brutal,
sense.
violent, disgusting way.
Yeah. That'll be the one on when you want everyone to leave the party later.
Yeah.
Or, well, maybe not the third one.
I did put on Terrifier 2 last year.
Yep.
That's right, yeah.
Oops.
How about you?
Yeah, I've seen a few movies, actually. A couple that I feel like are kind of actually related to this film in some sense. Yeah, right. Weird. I watched The Substance.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
Someone at work saw it that I didn't think was into that stuff.
Interesting. Okay.
And I was like, are you like really into body horror? I've heard it gets pretty intense. But
it does get intense. Yeah. And then I watched Kinds of Kindness last night, or no, a couple nights ago.
Yeah. What'd you think? What was your favorite third?
I think the last one was my favorite one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, last one's my favorite. That one I didn't like initially. Not that I didn't like it at first, but it was more after like the person I watched it with, like we talked about like our interpretation of it, and so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I watched some videos and stuff like that. But kind of like this movie, like a surrealist kind of movie about relationships in some way.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. And then I watched, Challengers, the tennis movie, which was good. I wasn't actually like planning on watching it. I thought it looked kind of interesting, but I was kind of on the fence about watching it, and I enjoyed it. It was a fun ride.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I do know some people who that's their favorite movie of the year, so I do have to check that off my list at some point.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it? Challengers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's we didn't plan this in advance, but what a great transition. I have been watching a lot of movies. I feel like I had a month or two of like coming on here and being like, I only have time to watch stuff for the podcast, but that's no longer true. Challengers is the latest movie from Luca Guadagnino, who a few years ago made a remake of Suspiria. I watched the original Suspiria for the first time, the 1977 Dario Argento film. It's really good. I haven't watched the Guadagnino version yet that stars Dakota Johnson. Apparently it's very different, which is intriguing because the first one's really, really, really interesting.
Does that have something to do with like dancing or something?
Yes.
Like that? Okay. I was going to say, I feel like that's come up on.
An American ballerina goes to a German dance academy, and I don't know if it's more hidden in the more recent one, but in the original one, it's pretty quickly revealed that like there's some witch stuff going on.
Oh, okay.
The soundtrack is by the prog rock group Goblin. And
that's a great band name.
Yep, it's great. And so the music in it, even though it's in the late 70s, sounds pretty modern because it's like a weirdo prog rock group. But part of the soundtrack is before the main character even gets to the dance academy, she's in a cab from the airport, and there's someone in the soundtrack yelling, "Witch!" So if you're like, oh, I wonder what kind of horror this is, well, someone, before a second named character enters the film, someone on the soundtrack has already like non-diegetically yelled "witch." So there you go. It's a witch one.
Nice. Okay.
Which one?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Nice.
Keep that one in.
I also watched 3 Insidious films, the first, second, and fifth one, because that's the only one that follows like the same
is that why you
family.
sent that screenshot?
Yeah, I
thought
forgot
that was
to finish that
previous
thought.
one. Like you didn't say anything with it, did you?
No, I realized later I forgot to finish that thought, and was like, oh, what was I going to say? It was going to be more substantial than just I watched these 3 movies because that's not that notable. But yeah, I forgot what I was going to say about that. They get pretty bad.
There's 5 Insidious films?
Yeah, so they made 2, and then they made 2 prequels unrelated to the central family. That's Patrick Wilson and Rose Byrne and their kids.
Oh, okay.
And then relatively recently, I think 2023, last year, the most recent Insidious movie was about that family again.
Oh, interesting.
But it was 10 years later. The first 2 are 2010 and 2013.
At what movie do you think they should have stopped?
The second one.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen either of the prequels. Maybe they're good. They don't seem to have a lot of fans. The first one kind of doesn't stick the landing, but is pretty good for a while. And then the second one isn't that good, but is really fun. And then The Red Door is the third one I watched, which is not that good and also not that fun. Which I was hoping it would stay like the second Insidious movie, where it's like, I'm having a good time. This is goofy and the logic doesn't... the math doesn't math, so to speak, in any of the rules or how anything is working logically. And then speaking of James Wan, I rolled that into watching The Conjuring last night or the night before. It was fun. I hadn't seen The Conjuring before. So
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Now I live in Rhode Island, so I got to watch The Conjuring.
You got to go to the house now.
Gotta go to the house.
Gotta go to the house. The house is having some issues. We don't have to get into it. Not horror, but I've also watched Howl's Moving Castle since the last time I recorded. So that one's good.
Nice.
And now I can close Letterboxd because that's all I've watched. Do we want to talk about Possession?
Oh, that's all.
Nope.
No. Okay. Well, thanks for coming out.
No, we'll talk about it.
I hadn't seen this movie before, but it's sort of like a pet object of film Twitter or internet film fans that they're really into this movie. And so I'd seen a lot of clips from it, a lot of GIFs, memes, I guess, even. And so that was my familiarity with it. Hadn't actually sat down and watched the thing before. How about y'all?
No, I didn't. Never heard of this movie.
Yeah.
And had no idea what to expect.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yep. That's all I can say about how my thoughts before watching it.
Yeah, same. I didn't even know it existed.
Oh, there you
usually funnel me things that I would be interested in. So
yeah,
I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, I hope you don't regret that.
No. Would I watch it again? Probably not.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah. Any of us feel strongly about doing a 1 minute plot summary for this one?
I could try.
Okay.
Noah.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's a
Mine
tough
won't
one.
be good.
Let me know when the
I
timer
did take
starts.
notes though.
All you, man.
Okay. So this gentleman comes home after a business trip to find that his wife has been unfaithful, and then their marriage continues to deteriorate. I don't know where to go from there. At some point, you find out that the wife is harboring some kind of weird alien octopus monster that she keeps killing people, and I'm not sure if she's feeding them, but she's having sex with it. And then the movie just kind of keeps getting stranger and stranger with more like weird body horror stuff. The husband and wife keep acting stranger and stranger, having these like psychotic breaks, until the point where at the end, I guess you find out that the alien was actually a clone, and then the wife had also cloned herself, and then they're wanted by the cops, and then people die, and then the
Pretty
clones
much.
end up together, I guess. And then their child, who's kind of like an afterthought, drowns himself in a bathtub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full commit by that kid.
Oh yeah, he just went right up there into the tub.
I took a note on that. That poor kid. Sorry, Bob, you didn't deserve it. But I think it's also physically impossible to drown yourself in a tub without some kind of restraint due to inherent will to breathe and live. But anyway, tentacle sex monsters, so anything's possible.
Yeah, Bob's a weirdo though.
Yeah, I mean, do you look at his parents?
I know,
Yeah, that's the only thing you can't blame him.
I mean, I guess it was sort of foreshadowing that his name's Bob, and he'd end up like that being the last shot of the film.
That's actually hilarious.
At first, I'm like, is he hiding? It's like, oh no, he's just dying.
Yeah, he's trying to kill himself.
He's just out on this. He's over it.
Yeah.
This joins the long and storied canon of films on this podcast that are, I guess, metaphors about divorce, just like Jurassic Park, the first episode that I technically put out this month. It was a re-release, the third time we put it out, but I didn't want to go a whole week into October without putting something out. So Jurassic Park came out as we're recording earlier today, and now we're going to a much more niche Sam Neill film, Possession.
Did you like do commentary over it?
I should have. I did a thing at the beginning being like, here's why all these references are 2 years old if we mention anything in the podcast. But yeah, it was a pretty fun one.
Nice.
One of the reasons I wanted to do Sam Neill this month is because I feel like he's a really underrated actor, and especially like he really commits to roles when he's in them.
Oh, he's committed.
And I already thought that, having not seen this movie before. I feel like he really gets to a place in this one, though. All of the actors do. They're all doing a kind of a different thing. Isabelle Adjani, who plays his wife Anna, is going there even more. She won the Cannes Film Award for Best Actor. Best Actress when this movie came out in 1981, but then it was banned for the most part when it tried to come out in different countries. There was a really the movie's over 2 hours long. There was an 80-minute version that came out in America that everyone hated.
I watched the uncut one.
Yeah.
Like the fully, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta get the full experience. Apparently the 80-minute version doesn't cut out the graphic stuff. It just cuts out all the divorce stuff.
Oh, wait, that sounds way better. Even though that was like the whole point of the film, because the director went through a divorce.
Yeah. Apparently the version that was put into American cinemas was
skip all this
more
boring
just like,
shit. Let's see the weird
Yeah, it
murder
was
tentacle things.
Yeah.
pitched as like a horror monster movie because it was just about like the tentacle guy.
Wait, now I have to go.
Yeah.
I said I wouldn't watch this again. I might watch the 80-minute version.
Yeah, that cut of it might be kind of interesting.
I think it might be better. Yeah.
I'll put it on at the Halloween party. No, that's a bad one. For
I was gonna say that'd be weird.
Yeah.
That's a weird one.
I guess it's just like non-metaphorically, just like, no, this monster's real. It's not a metaphor. It's not in anyone's head. It's a real thing. The folks of Berlin, all 10 of them, are terrified.
I have questions on the monster. I don't know if this is the time to bring it up.
Yeah, I don't know that we need to really keep this on the rails too much. Go
All right.
for it. There's no rails. We're beyond rails.
So did she murder people and turn them into those monsters? Because I remember when she killed the PI, she was like, "Oh, he's not ready yet," and he was like in his like transformation form.
Yeah.
So she's just making these sex monsters and
Unclear.
banging them. Okay.
I don't know. Was it one of the. She talks about the two sisters, and she says she miscarried one of them, and then that scene in the subway, that is actually a pretty famous scene. If you are on film Twitter, it comes up a lot.
Yeah,
And people
I've seen that clip.
Yeah, people remix it with like different music in the background, so it's more.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
so
fun.
sweet.
Yeah.
Is that Hey There, Delilah? Wait, I might do that.
Oh gosh. Now I'm just thinking of plain white tees.
Which you're wearing.
Yeah, this is the only merch they ever made.
We're on a roll today.
They would have saved a lot of money.
Genius.
This is going to be a good episode.
Like a 20-pack of Hanes. And
If you're going to stop listening right now, don't.
Keep
it going.
It's like, I just don't know how to get into this one. She says she miscarried, but only one of them. And then is the monster the one that she like birthed at some point? Is this like what happens when you have sex with her?
I don't.
Doesn't happen to Sam Neill or that other guy, who I already forgot his name. But
honestly, I forgot all of their everyone but Anna. Right? Anna was that her
like
name?
Vincent? Yes.
Oh, I remember Heinrich. He was
Heinrich.
Heinrich.
Yeah, Heinrich.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think he definitely tried
Mark.
to have sexual relations with.
Mark. Everybody.
at the
Maybe not his
beginning,
mom.
Yeah.
Because he was like, oh, we could just talk about this, and then he immediately like put his hand on his
Yeah.
chest, like
Yeah,
feel my breasts.
Yeah.
And he was
There's a
like,
couple
dude,
times.
I hate you.
There's a couple times a dude grabs another dude's hands and holds them like right up to his sternum as they're talking to each other.
The PI's
Yeah.
boyfriend, question mark.
Yeah.
They
They live
also
together.
did that. Yeah. It was 1981, you know.
All to say, I
Say that out loud.
don't know where those kind of tentacle-y guys were coming from.
I did like start to watch some analyses. Analyses?
You got
What's
it,
the
yeah.
plural of analysis?
Analyses,
Analyses, yeah, I knew
I
that.
think.
I started watching some of those, and then I was like, I've had enough.
Yeah.
Because they start talking about things that I'm like, I don't care about the deep history of the director. Like,
Yeah.
all I wanted to know was like
The fuck is this thing?
who the director was,
And why?
why. Yeah. Which like, okay, he went through a divorce.
Yeah.
Apparently, it wasn't good.
It was not.
And I hope it was nothing like that movie, but
Hope he didn't have a kid named Bob.
Oh, God. They say Bob so many times in this movie.
do
Um,
strange name choice, but
with this, and especially if when it's a first time watch for me, I try to not get too hung up on the behind the scenes stuff. But similarly, I wanted to like, okay, what's this guy's deal? And also for the actors, sometimes you see a movie like this, if there's other movies like this, but like an intense movie and you're like, oh, wow, that must have been terrible. And then you hear like, oh, no, the set was great. The actors actually were fine. They weren't that stressed at all. That wasn't the case on this one.
Surprise, surprise.
But one fun behind the scenes fact, Carlo Rambaldi worked on the tentacle monster a little bit. He's the guy who made the sort of moving animatronic head for the original Alien. An Alien.
Interesting.
that's cool.
There you go. That's the only fun fact about this movie.
Did I have another one? Nope. No, nothing else is fun. You know what would be a good Halloween costume that would like be perfect for like a film group Halloween party? Would just be like that Anna in the blue dress with like
Yeah.
the neck wrap after she tried to cut her head off.
Yeah. It's sort of a little grody. She only wears that one dress the whole movie.
Yeah.
And she gets like a lot of viscera spilled while she's wearing that dress.
Mm.
Yeah. Who knows what else?
And who knows what else?
Did you also think it was really weird that when, sorry, what was the dude's name?
Mark?
Yeah. When Mark in the movie was like, grabbed that electric knife.
Just sort of cut
and he was
himself
just
a
like,
little bit.
it doesn't work on t-shirts, but it works on skin. And then he tried his t-shirt again and he was like, like that was a big ADHD moment where he was like, hold on. Oh, shit,
intrusive
wow,
thoughts.
Look at that.
The movie's all intrusive thoughts.
Yeah.
And then she's leaving. He's like, well, should we both drive him to school today? And it's like, bro, you're kind of,
dude can't
you're
take
bleeding
a
a lot right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt though.
No, everyone's constantly covered in blood and just sort of cool with it.
Yeah. People like around them are just like,
This is what it is.
Oh, that's just Mark and Anna. Always covered in blood.
It takes place in such a weird, I don't know, whatever the extremely gray version of Twilight is, it's constantly that time, I guess, here in Berlin. Most of the places they filmed were right next to the wall. This is at the peak of the separated Berlin. They did that for a couple of reasons. The most obvious connection, according to the director at least, is like it's divorce. It's like in the world a very literal separation in Berlin at the time. And so they filmed right near the wall. That's sort of hovering over the whole film. It's so abandoned and so eerie everywhere they are, whether they're inside or outside. Everything's falling apart and terrible.
Honestly, I was earlier before this, I was watching Miles play the Silent Hill remake. And it looks a lot like it's like a foggier version of what we saw.
Yeah. Yikes. Yeah. But I don't know. All to say, I like this one a lot. It's really good. It's pretty gross at times, and it's a lot of different genres.
Yeah, it's definitely a big mix.
It's a big mix. I like when things are a mashup. Like a good mashup.
I'd say it was a good match.
I was wondering through.
That's just my own 2 cents.
Thought is gone. Oh, there's a lot of things in this movie that I was like, is this deeper than it is? But I don't think it was.
Yeah, I felt
like
that way a lot too.
I feel like I didn't watch a lot of analyses.
Yeah.
I watched like the one that like the beginning of the one you showed, and then another one that this very boring dude did.
Which
it was like a video essay.
Trying to watch just to get a handle, because I'm not, I don't really speak Polish that much. So trying to get a handle on how to pronounce Żuławski is what the guy said.
Żuławski,
yeah. Andrzej Żuławski,
like
the director's name. Wanted to pronounce correctly, and I still didn't. Sorry. But yeah, you didn't watch that many things.
No, because then I was like, I don't know. I feel like
it might just be that.
People love to over analyze and like over mysticize or romanticize these kind of things. And it's like, honestly, the dude just wanted to make a fucked up film, I feel like. And he went through a divorce. So like, this was pain.
Yep.
And then like the one like concept that kind of ramped up throughout the movie was like people like snapping into like, I guess, a possessed form or whatever. Like they would just be talking normally, and then they would just be like, oh, I'm this person now. And like be all cheery and like start dancing like Heinrich and
Yep. It feels not an original thought. Others have said this, but it has the sort of spirit of, there are a lot of Italian horror, giallo movies, especially, where there's not a ton of consistent characterization or plot logic, where like all of a sudden a thing's happening because the director thought it would be cool for that thing to happen now, not because of it was built to or anything like that. But I think that happens with Mark a lot.
Yeah.
Where just scene to scene, or even within the same scene, he'll just sort of adopt a different personality. And I guess he's going through some stuff too. But yeah, especially him and Heinrich, every time they talk, they're like different people.
Yeah, it was really
with a fully different dynamic.
Sometimes mid-conversation.
Sometimes
it starts off like, hey, you. And then they're just like, huh.
Yeah.
I wish that like facial feature that I just made could be
that was pretty much it. Yeah.
A
lot of like creepy,
creepy happiness. Like
creepy happiness.
Creepy faux happiness. Malicious
happiness.
Ooh, band name.
Yes.
Malicious Happiness.
Or no, that's more of a that's a first album.
Yeah.
Malicious Happiness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
More of an album,
Metalcore band.
Yeah.
Yes. Like a cousin to Toxic Positivity.
Yes.
Malicious
Oh,
Happiness.
I like this. Put this in the Patreon version.
Yeah.
We can't be giving like free album names
exactly.
out.
You're gonna pay for that album name.
I'm not going to cut it out though. It's just going to be beeped for that full minute.
Beep. Just use that tone that I did.
Yeah,
Just
perfect.
saying beep.
My note literally says people start losing their shit over time.
Yeah.
Also, he eventually goes and murders Heinrich, and then she loves him again.
Yeah. It takes him a minute, but once he's like pretty, he's kind of ride or die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's pretty.
You can't
once
say he doesn't love her, I guess.
yeah. Once he figures out what's going on, he's like, okay, I can get behind this.
Yeah.
But then at the end, he like, I don't know
what
how
anyone's motivation is, honestly.
At the end of the movie, I was like, I don't know what to think anymore. Because then like he seemed happy about it and like was happy she was back into him. But then he like went to Heinrich's mother and like seemed kind of sad. And then he had his alternate version there also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what was going on there.
And then the
That was
alternate
his possessed
version
version, maybe.
tracks down the other Isabelle Adjani version
So they're
when Bob
both,
kills himself.
they're both clones, right? The school teacher is the clone of Anna.
I don't know. Who's that
I
lady
think
at the top of the stairs that helps?
That's just a person.
They were just there.
Wait,
The blonde she
lady?
lives on the roof.
He was banging her earlier on too. I think that's a friend of Anna or sister.
No, you're thinking
Oh.
of Marge.
Marge, yeah.
Yeah, Marge. You're talking about the person at
Marge.
the top of the building that he gives the gun to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that he gives the
That
gun
wasn't
to
Marge.
and then like boosts
Oh,
him
that
out.
wasn't Marge.
She
That
was
wasn't
already dead at that point because Anna kills her.
Yeah,
Right.
Marge is dead. Yeah, because he puts her in the plastic thing.
Yeah, he
right?
puts her in the
Oh,
plastic,
yeah.
puts her in the car.
Puts her in the car, and then she
Which
ends
that
up
whole
falling
scene was just complete chaos.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on?
Back up the car, crash into it, trunk flew open, body flies out, fire,
Yeah.
cops.
So
out.
weird.
They're just blowing up cop cars.
Yeah.
I like when he
gets
gets in.
shot.
He gets in the taxi, and he runs out. He sees the cops. His bike's like a few feet away. They didn't see him. He could just get on the bike and go.
Yeah.
And he hops in a taxi, puts the gun to his head, and is like, "All right, drive into that cop car." And the taxi driver,
Full speed
it was like he
reverse.
was, it was like he was waiting for someone to ask him
Thank
to do
God.
that. He was like, "Oh, yes, I would like nothing more than to do that."
I've had my car in reverse with my foot on the brake for 3
He
days.
was so ready. He was so ready for it.
Yeah. He did tell him to reverse, right? Because then the
He did, yeah.
shot is of the car going forward.
He did. He said,
I didn't
reverse,
think of that. Yeah.
and then throw it into gear.
It would have been a great time for, well, I think it was a little early for this, but Fuck the Police started playing as the car. Oh, I need to make some
I was going to
some
say
edits of this movie.
Yeah, we got a couple in the bank, I think.
Yeah.
I play
Ooh, we could do a
Waitress in
dub
that one.
over.
Oh yeah,
I bet we can make a great dub over of this movie.
that's I was going to say. This is,
Yeah. That cab driver just hated cops. He probably didn't even need the gun held to his head.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe it was him holding the gun to his own head.
Yep. And then Samuel just tuck and rolls out of the car.
Yep.
Tucks and rolls out of the car.
Yep.
And then he drives back to the city on his motorbike and ends
so.
up like crashing that.
Yeah. Yep. That's what happens.
There's
Then
a
he gets
crucial
on it.
part that happened before this that I made a note about how fucked up it was.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Why the dog? Come on.
Oh yeah.
Poor dog.
Poor dog.
I literally stopped and I was like, really? You have to do that to the dog?
Did I miss that part?
Yeah.
There's a dead dog in the river.
In the
and that
river, yeah.
weird dude.
Oh,
And the
in
guy was
the-
like, sometimes dogs are in the river or whatever he says to him.
Yeah, they're like, that wasn't an accident. Sometimes dogs end up in the river and it's not an accident or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Like-
It's
I missed that part. I guess.
was that the guy in the blue suit with the pink socks?
I think so, with the terrible hair that's like trying to get him to
Yeah.
come back to work, but
The
he
guy that
retired for
clearly has the like very natural ability to become a clown. Like
Yes.
he's got clown
He's most of the
vibes.
way there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Clown undertones.
He misses calling.
He also randomly takes his shoe off at the end, like when he's climbing up the stairs and like looks at
Yeah, he
it.
takes his shoe off. I was like, what's that? Why?
If you're like, oh, I must have stepped in something, but like, yeah, you just walked over multiple
There's-
murdered bodies. Like, what
There's
are
a
you?
lot of blood on this stairwell.
Yeah,
Come on,
and
dude.
who knows what else?
Yeah. Yeah.
and who
really.
knows what else?
So many
There's viscera
fluids.
everywhere.
My note was dead dog was where I draw the line. What was I thinking?
Yeah.
And then why two of him also?
Yeah.
Which I think we're all wondering.
Also a good question.
And then
Being
same
cut
scene.
by a tentacle monster I can tolerate, but
Yeah,
dead
that's-
dog is where I draw the
Wait a
line.
minute.
Yeah, that was my thought process.
Yeah.
And did you notice at the end she shot herself in the butt? Why shoot herself in the butt of all things?
She holds herself in like a weird yoga pose and shoots herself like,
Oh, when she's on the
Right in
stairs.
anus. Yeah.
yeah. Because I think she was trying to shoot both of them at the same time. I don't know.
That's not the best way to go about
No,
that. But
it's
whatever.
probably not.
That was like a small gun too.
At the
It was like a
angle,
22 or whatever. And
Yeah.
you're barely gonna penetrate your tailbone.
it looked like she shot herself in the ass and was trying to align it with like his dick at the same time.
Oh, maybe it was to destroy her reproductive
Yeah.
possibilities along with his.
Yeah. You got to do a lot of the work.
She's like,
that's
if
what
I'm
the
gonna,
metaphor was.
if I'm gonna not fuck you,
That's what this whole
then
movie
nobody
has been.
will.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to do a lot of the work to get to there.
Any thoughts on why? Well, I guess we already kind of brushed on this, but why
The
there's
doppelgangers?
she was teacher. The teacher was also her.
I think
don't
so.
know.
That was my understanding of it. Was the teacher was her doppelganger?
Yeah, like this has happened before.
like,
kind of
yeah.
thing.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know how she came to be.
It's
or
like
any of that stuff.
doppelgangers, and it's something about relationships, and you're
The
trying
person
to
she used to be.
you're trying to like
Yeah.
you want the person you're with, but you want this like perfect version of them.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that I can see.
But like,
And the only thing Mark
where'd you
mentions
come
was
from?
your hair. It's spot on.
Yeah, your hair
Like
is
nothing else.
perfect.
Not the fact that she looks physically exactly like his
Yeah.
wife.
Oh, wait.
Your hair. You braided your hair in the exact way she does. How does it look so simple?
You can get over it.
Yeah, he's into. She has those green eyes, which I don't know.
Mhm.
Did Anna have green eyes?
No,
No,
they were
I think it was
brown,
like
right?
edited or contacts or something like that.
but then at the end, the Sam Neill doppelganger has just like very dark eyes or black eyes. Whereas
also,
actual
like,
Sam Neill has blue eyes.
90% opacity, wasn't he? I feel like he was very like either unsaturated or
Oh yeah, maybe he was weird.
yeah.
He was
did
just he
something
was
to him,
good.
too.
Like I could tell, like that's the weird one.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah, his physicality in the like scene and a half barely that he's playing that doppelganger, and he's just sort of weird. And when you see him through the frosted glass of the door, and he's just doing like that weird thing with his hands.
he also jumped from the stairs, and then like they didn't show anything, like him falling, him landing, him leaving. I don't think.
No, that was actual Sam Neill, and then they show his body all broken on the ground because that's when the doppelganger goes through the skylight. And he's like, you pick how to end it. Like, are you just gonna lay there, wait to
Okay.
like bleed out?
There's a lot
And then
going
he, like,
on. I
throws
think
himself
I
off the
couldn't.
stairwell.
I got distracted by the shoe thing with the
Yeah.
guy with the very pink socks.
Right, and then I think it's that guy that's like looking at the crumpled body at the bottom of the stairwell, and then he takes his shoe off.
He's like, ew.
Ew, body.
Oh, I got body on my shoe. It's the worst.
I wonder if like all these things were like very like meticulous by him, or if he was just told the actor like, just do whatever you want,
Some of it had to have been like, hey,
Yeah.
just like.
improvise.
Do you think the actors were all also like mentally unstable during the time of filming this? Like they had to like,
Yes.
if they were method actors.
This might be one of those like marketing techniques that's in really poor taste, but some of the rumors around the film when it came out is that afterwards Isabelle Adjani tried to commit suicide because she was in such a weird headspace after filming this.
Yeah, I believe that.
The director confirmed that, supposedly.
Why ask him?
Right.
Like, are they just hanging out on the reg after the movie?
I wouldn't want to. Sam Neill said that it was like he barely got out alive. He definitely would not make the movie again or anything like it again.
Good.
I think he puts it like he barely escaped with his sanity. Yeah, apparently it was not a fun shoot, and they had to go to some really weird places. The subway scene for Isabelle Adjani, they only did 2 takes of it.
That's good.
Yeah, he said like even the director, who you think is like you must assume is not like the most progressive dude and about like not driving his people insane, but even he was like, We got it mostly all on the first take. We did another take just in case like we lost the first take, but I didn't want to make her do that too many times.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, probably for best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really long scene. When I've seen clips of it online, it is not the whole thing.
It was it was just way too
And it doesn't
long.
have the end.
I was just I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I think that might have been around when I texted you. I don't remember what part I was at.
Yeah, that comes right about in the middle. And then like halfway through that, all of that happening, you forget that, oh, right. And then it goes back to the same scene. This was her being like, this thing happened while you were gone. Flashback. And then it came back to that conversation. Like, oh yeah, I forgot that this was just thrown to from the future.
I really hated when the PI went into an apartment and was like checking all the windows, doing a terrible job at faking check windows.
To check the window.
He's like, he just looks and he's like, he knocks. Yeah, that's a window. And then like suddenly they're like, ha ha ha, why would you check the bathroom? There's no windows. And then she drops like milk or whatever. That's weird.
Starts getting
And
weird.
then murders him. Turns him into a,
Yeah, I mean, everybody loses their minds the whole time.
including myself.
The PI also was not good at his job. She made him immediately and was running away from him, and he was just chasing her for most of it. So she knows she was being followed. Not a good PI.
The most fucked up part, I fell asleep 3/4 of the way through.
Hell yeah.
And then had to watch the end after.
Oh no.
Well, at least you went back. You're
Oh,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm done.
No. I was like, okay, we got to do that. I can't believe I slept well after that.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. It's not even particularly scary. It's just kind of like,
Like you probably have weird
the
dreams
fuck.
after that.
Yeah.
The performances you talked a little bit about, but I really like the performances. They're verging on camp, maybe even kitsch, some would say. Some critics at the time did say, but it is so over the top. Everything everyone
Camp
does.
mean in this?
So I think that's a good question. It's like not always definable, but it's like exaggerated bad tastes,
Yeah,
but it's
okay.
sort of part of the whole aesthetic.
That I didn't like. Like I mean I get
either.
like,
Everyone
that's a
is
thing.
very loud and like
yeah.
really jerky and all
Like
this
especially in like that restaurant scene when they're sitting in the corner. I like the visual of that. That was
Yeah.
like cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he was just like, and then you would do something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
And everyone just has to like pretend like they're actually in a cafe.
Then he just starts violently throwing furniture at her.
Yeah.
And then he
Terrible aim, but
Yeah.
then I didn't get what was happening. It cuts to, you guess it's been, I don't know, a week or whatever. He hasn't shaved. He's been on a bender. He makes a phone call, but he can't form words.
he also didn't know how long he was out of it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, and it was like, oh, did he get possessioned or something? What's going on with him? And it's like, oh no, he's fine in the next scene.
Oh, actually.
In fact, he's sort of like high roading her in the next scene because that's when he goes and she wasn't there and the kid's covered in jam or whatever.
I thought he had like a skin disease or something, or like no one had taken care of him and he like burned himself or something like that.
Oh no.
Yeah. That was not the case. It was jam.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
when I realized I really didn't like that over the top acting thing was during that scene when he was like going crazy and he was just laying in the bed, like strangely convulsing. Like,
Yes.
like
Yes,
just
he
like,
was.
like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was like, oh, is he like, what's happening to him? And you're like, oh, he's just having a bad day.
I was just shaking his head. I'm like, dude, like how have you made it this far
Yeah.
in life?
Yeah.
None of this is paranormal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're just strange and mentally unstable.
Yeah. They're kind of made for each other. They have a lot of really weird, strained conversations. They get very physical and very violent. Very weird. They run out into the street early on. She like almost runs in front of a truck. A bunch of cars fall off of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was weird too.
She runs off. Yeah, there's one shot where she then runs off, but the camera changes from a shot of both of them to just like straight on her, and her mouth's like bleeding and she's screaming and stuff.
Yeah.
Jeez, the camera's very cool in this, but I don't know if it's not the choices
There were some
most
cool
would make.
shots.
Yeah.
My favorite shot was the restaurant one.
Yeah.
That like split dynamic on the corner.
Yeah.
That was cool.
There's a lot of steady cam going on, so it's very smooth even when it's moving around.
Yeah.
I liked when Sam Neill left, like Heinrich leaves the apartment and then he like thinks better. Sam Neill thinks better of it and then like chases him down the stairwell and the camera's following him the whole time. Like that was like at that point I'm like, well, this is interesting. I don't know what any of this is in service of necessarily.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if it was this movie or if I'm thinking of a scene in X where they did that like John Wick above the apartment over the rooms. Was that this movie?
I think that might have been X.
It might have been X, but I saw it and I was like, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I love that kind of
in
shot.
General. Yeah, it was a really sick shot.
Yeah.
Also, like, why did the PI think it was going to be a believable, like he's running up the stairs and even does the like three, like
Yeah, you've
multiple
been
steps? It's like,
so
she just ran from you.
7 people live in this city. You've been chasing her for so many stops. She knows this isn't even a residential building. There's nowhere else you're going.
Like that taxi driver's already in the car. He's been there for 3 days waiting to
Yeah.
crash into a police car.
7 people in the whole place.
Yeah, who else would want to live there?
There's
Like
like-
I don't
fucking
know.
crazy.
Yeah. If the clones can vote, they have a lot of power.
That's a good point. They're gonna crank out a couple more.
Yeah.
I think.
Democracy was very strong in this part of Berlin in 1981.
I think maybe they needed a dictatorship for just in this context.
Yeah. Well, it seems like the ending is nuclear Armageddon or something. Unclear. Because of all of this?
I think it's
I
because
guess.
Bob died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob was the conceptual nuclear code.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bob was the canary in the coal mine. He knew when it was time to get out. He's like, this world's
Yeah,
over.
Bob's like, there's no way I'm going to be not fucked up from this. Like,
No.
honestly, he was pretty level-headed
He was the
compared to anyone in this movie. I'm surprised he wasn't more messed up throughout the movie. He just sat there and was just like,
Yeah.
cool.
He doesn't have that many lines, but just the way he says don't open, I have to think he doesn't speak English.
Yeah.
And they just like phonetically told a small German boy to be like, here, just say don't open. Say it a lot of times.
Don't open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please don't open.
I
All right, get in
just
the-
thought of
get in the tub.
hold door.
Yeah.
Hold the door.
Hold the door.
It's like, and I'm thinking back and I'm like,
open.
I guess Bob's mostly in the tub throughout the movie. And I guess that was supposed to make me think like this kid's going to drown himself in this tub to end the movie or something.
I was just thinking it was really clean compared to the others. You know?
Yeah.
Like taking.
Did you see any of the other ones in a tub? Actually, no, we
No,
did. We
they
saw Mark in a
should've,
tub
man.
They
or
should,
in a
they should have
shower.
been in a tub.
Yeah.
He showers.
3 showers. Yeah, this is a weird one, but I had a good time.
I had a lot to say about this one.
A lot
Yeah.
to say.
Like Paprika was weird, but it was like I watched it
It's
and I
like
was
a
satisfied.
cohesive.
Yeah, it's cohesive.
thing about
Yeah,
the guy.
it was all over the place, but it made sense.
This one was just
She was
all
just
over the place.
everywhere. Just everywhere.
Divorce is bad.
It doesn't seem good. It wasn't good for him.
No.
Seems like it was pretty bad.
I kind of want to hear more about the director's divorce experience now in relation.
Supposedly the jam thing did happen. He went to, he hadn't been there for a bit, or he was already separated, went to pick up the kid. The wife hadn't been home for a few hours and the kid was covered in jam and he got like really mad about it, I guess.
Oh, that's just kids being kids.
Yeah. And
Sometimes Noah comes home and I'm just covered in jam.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was like, I
got
just
into
like
the jam again.
And the peanut butter.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I care enough to parse like what's real. Is this all in their head or whatever? But
I don't think we're meant to.
yeah, I don't feel like, I think you sort of just like immerse in it and just sort of get on its wavelength for a couple hours and then you're done.
Yeah.
So despite everything that happens with Anna, would you still, you think? The end? It's really hot. So.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
Sam Neill is fine after having sex with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
He's fine. I mean, he's not making the best.
But then he also had to just walk in while she was getting railed by a tentacle monster. And she's just like,
honestly seemed like he was cool with it.
Almost. And he seemed like he didn't know if he should be cool with it or not,
Yeah.
but he was.
He was surprised at first,
Mm.
but then he sort of got into it. I think he got into it.
I mean, he seemed like a pretty accepting guy.
Which leads me to my last note. Do you think like the whole, you know how some people have like monster fetishes?
Mm.
Do you think this movie was the trigger for that fetish subgenre.
Like the Japanese thing?
No, not like the. No, I'm not talking like hentai tentacle shit, but just like
There's people into it.
some people are like into like monsters, like like people that like are into vampires and stuff.
Yeah.
It probably contributed to it for some people. It was really not popular here for a while until becoming a cult hit later, really in the last like 10, 15 years.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this like pioneered that like.
Yeah, but some people
thought
probably
of it.
saw it. This comes out after Cronenberg's The Brood, which is similar to, but not so sexually explicit, but just about like it's divorce but body horror. But it's not so much lady having sex with big tentacle guy.
Maybe in Japan, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not really an aficionado in that realm.
He lied.
I mean, the posters on my walls say otherwise, but it's more of like
Just
appreciating art.
He's being modest.
He's being
All right, the posters are in the office too. All right, enough about me.
On a scale of 0.5 to 5 on any scale of your choosing, what would you give Andrzej Żuławski's? I was so caught up on how to pronounce his last name, I just gave him a different first name. 1981 cult classic, Possession. The question again, 0.5 to 5 on any scale you're choosing, aside from stars. What would you give Possession?
It's got to be a lot of
Honestly, before talking about it, I would have probably given it like a 2. But after talking about it and like, I guess kind of understanding the time it was made like so long ago and that it's unique, I'll probably give it 3 disgusting squelches out of 5.
That's a good one. I'm going to give it 2 grotesque monster things out of 5.
That one kind of fell apart, huh?
Yeah.
You like, I have it. 2 grotesque monster things.
Can I do a second take?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But then again, it was only 2, so maybe that's.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Is it I was just trying to think of like what to call it. Is it a tentacle monster?
It did have a tentacle.
Did it have a tentacle? Oh, I could just do clones.
Oh, maybe that was the dick.
Yeah, I think I don't know.
One of them was.
Well, I guess combination.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
I'll give it 2 clones out of 5.
Yeah, I like it. I was looking at, sometimes I just look at like the IMDb quotes page to see if there's like a fun object to pull from that. And one of the quote unquote quotes is just subway drunk, parentheses, steals a banana.
Nice.
That's great.
I forgot that happened. Yeah, that's a thing too. I would say I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 Bob bathing times before bed. That kid's just taking baths nonstop.
Nice.
Bathing bobs.
There's
4 out of 5 bathing bobs.
There's so many like quotes and just like fragments of ideas that sort of like are still rattling around my head from this movie. Like, it's helpful to go through the quotes page and be like, oh yeah, the time where she says, I can't exist by myself because I'm afraid of myself because I'm the maker of my own evil. It's like, that's something.
Honestly, that was deep. I stopped and was like, okay, that's good.
And that's in some weird home movie that he's like, one of the times he's rocking violently in a chair and he's watching
the ballerina thing.
Yeah. And I guess she used to teach dance and was,
Oh yeah, that part.
who filmed that?
And got really close to her face.
Yeah. And why was she doing like talking head reflections about what just happened? Like she's being interviewed on the sidelines. I don't understand. Anyway, Subway drug salesman. Good stuff. Haven't picked a Sam Neilloween through line question yet, but I think a good one would be, would you want to hang out with this Sam Neill?
No.
Versus what other Sam Neills do we got?
I think the winner in the clubhouse is probably Dr. Alan Grant from Jurassic Park.
Oh, then no. Not this Sam
Either
Neill.
way, I don't care.
Yeah. He starts off like reluctantly not that good with kids. Maybe he has a crush on Laura Dern, and then he ends up like pretty good with kids and alive at the end.
Yeah.
Neither of which you can say about this Sam Neill.
He also murdered someone in this film.
He did.
Kind of multiple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to hang out with this version of Sam Neill either. I wonder if that question will get different answers throughout the month.
Yeah. What are the other movies for the month? Do you have those yet?
Event Horizon,
Sneak preview.
In the Mouth of Madness.
I haven't seen that either.
There's one that like Ethan Hawke's in. It's about vampires, and I'm going to do that one with Patrick, who's been on a couple times, and we both keep forgetting the name of it. It's not Daywalkers, it's Daybreakers. I want to say it's about vampires. Apparently, Sam
I
Neill's
think I've
in
seen
it.
that. Hold on.
I don't even know if he stars in that, but we're going to do it because it's a crazy cast for a movie that doesn't feel like I know anything about it,
Interesting.
and I'm really curious. And I love In the Mouth of Madness. It's really good. Okay, cool. Well, that does it for us. Thanks, Cory and Noah, for being on this one.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Anytime.
Kicking off Sam Neilloween with a bang, so to speak.
What's on the agenda for your Halloween costume? If
I don't
make it to the
know.
party.
I think I can. It's what, the 16th you said?
19? That Saturday.
19.
That Saturday. Okay, yeah, I think so. I haven't decided yet.
For context for the people,
Yeah.
Ben always has great deep costumes.
Primo.
Primo.
My favorite was the Raccoon Tui.
Rakakuni.
Rakakuni, yeah.
Oh, I forgot I did that. That was a good one.
That was so good.
one.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I guess I do have a movie theme streak
Because
going. I have to keep up.
Barbie movie.
I was the movie event of the summer last year. I was a mashup of Oppenheimer and Barbie. Which is
You were
fun, too.
Barbenheimer, that's right.
Yep. Yeah, I gotta think of something because that's pretty soon. It's already what, the 7th? Yikes.
Yeah.
2 weeks?
Got 2 weeks.
Oh man. If anything isn't like next day shipping on Amazon, I'm always like, well, that's never coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's just months away. I'll figure it out. Thanks, guys, for being on this episode, and catch us next time. You find all our stuff on Linktree, linktr.ee/late to the movies. Tune in next week for more Sam Neilloween.
Onlyfans.com/late to the movies.
You find everything that's on the cutting room floor. It's a lot for this episode.
Reenactments.
And anytime we've mentioned Patreon, we of course have meant OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a lot of reenactments.
It's just us twitching on the ground, being really weird.
Wearing nothing but pink socks.
Yes.